Your life insurance intro as an agent is the number one key to help you consistently be able to get into qualified conversations. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how agents are consistently hitting $30,000, $40,000, and $50,000 a month strictly off of their intro. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents like yourself issue pay $40,000 per month. And on this channel, I talk about the strategies, tactics, and the behaviors that you can go out and execute in order to get there. So let's hop right in. Now, when it comes to being successful as a life insurance agent, when it comes to dialing on the phone, the first and probably the most important thing that you need to do in terms of conversation is you need to have a strong intro. All right. Now, it really doesn't matter what industry you're in, but since we're specifically talking about life insurance, let me explain why this is super important. But before I get into why this is important, I want to talk about how you could prepare yourself to have a strong intro. So let's start with the how. Now, most of the times when you're buying leads, you have no idea where the lead is coming from. You have no idea what they saw. You have no idea what angle that was done from the marketing. So when you're calling people, you're really just kind of reading off a strip or trying to freestyle. And most of the times, if you have no general consensus of where they're coming from, what they're looking into, and you call, you sound very robotic. So your tonality is very different. Something super subtle as, hey, this person came from this. This is what they may have saw or went through. So position a call in such a way. Give you an example. You're calling final expense leads and the marketing company tells you that on the ads, it says state regulated. Now, most of the times that people buy final expense leads, they get upset because they're like, oh, these people think it's free. Okay, that's fine. It may make you upset, but you're only upset because you were not prepared for what may come. And you're upset because they have the expectations that you don't have. Meaning you're like, well, they should know it's life insurance. They should know it's free. They shouldn't be confused. And then you get upset when you call them and you're like, well, you know, everybody thinks it's free. They think it's from the government. Now, if I flip that mindset and tell you everybody's going to think it's free, everybody thinks it's from the government because it says it's state regulated, which confuses people. Guess what you do on the call, right? Like, hey, John, looks like you were on Facebook or Instagram. This is talking about like those state regulated burial plans where you listed John as your beneficiary. Is that correct? And guess what they say? Yeah. And what that allows you to do is get into the presentation. If you've seen any of my videos and you understand the law of averages, you understand how this process works, it's super simple. You need to figure out how many presentations you need to get a sale. And then from there, you just reverse engineer. So say it takes you 8 presentations to get one sale. Then you have to go through 8 presentations in order to get one sale, meaning you have to, how many leads does it take you to get to a presentation? And then once you figure that out, you just buy the leads and you're good to work. It's really simple and really easy, but the first step is getting into the presentation. Now, the goal is to get into as many presentations as possible. The more presentations you get into, the more likely you are to close, the more likely you are to close, the more likely that you do close, and then closing is what makes you money. So instead of obsessing and getting upset by these people that are, yelling at you because you're saying, well, final expense life insurance programs, and they're like, well, I thought this was some state regulated program. Okay, never mind, hang up. You already don't align, so there's friction from the beginning, unintentionally, because they still were the person that filled it out. They still picked up the phone. You lost an opportunity. The goal is to figure out every time somebody picks up the phone, how quickly can I get to opportunity? The quicker I get to opportunity, more likely I am to be successful. Super easy, super straightforward. So that is going to be how you determine the first is what they saw, right? Meaning like what was the advertisement? What was the ad? What was the process, what we call the customer journey that they went through to get there? If it's an age lead, you still would be good to know. Are these 30 to 90? Now, here's the frame I always give people because they get very upset. They're like, well, these leads are old and blah, blah. Okay, look, do you remember what you were yesterday? Do you remember what you were 7 days ago? Most people say no, right? But if I said, hey, yesterday, like it was cold or hot? It was kind of cold. Okay, so you probably had a hoodie on or a jacket. Well, I think I had a hoodie. Okay, yeah. Got you. You see what I'm saying? You're getting the general consensus of what you were wearing. You may not know exactly. So people are getting upset because they're calling leads that are 5. To me, any lead over like a week old is all relatively the same. What you need to find out is what were they looking for at one point and what is probably going to happen when you call them and they pick up the phone. And then from there, you just reverse engineer. So with older leads, you're probably going to need more calls to get more presentations to get more sales. Simple. It's not like really rocket science. So once you start reverse engineering the numbers, you set yourself up for success, right? That's really how you grow and how you scale when it comes to knowing how to properly have the right intro, because the intro leads you to the presentation, right? Now let's talk about what to say. Now, once you understand, how to say it, I apologize. So once you understand the customer journey that they went through from top to bottom and like what it is that they saw or didn't see, so you're framed properly. Now you know what to say, right? So you're gonna say, hi, name, I'm getting back to you about the thing, right? I'm getting back to you about the request you filled out for final expense on, right, platform or area. It was in the mail, online. I don't say online, by the way. I always specify where it came from. So ask the lead vendor, what platforms are you running this on? Can you provide for me the platform that this lead came from? Most of the times they should be able to, right? Like we provide all of our clients the ability to know which platform that they're coming from. So on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever, where you listed and then use a data point. You can use email, you can use aid. It doesn't matter. People get they're like, it's like, dude, I'll take a name, email, phone number, state, age. That's all I need. Because all you need to do, especially if it's a new lead. Now, if it's an older lead, it's better to have more data points because it gives you more legs to stand on. But with fresh leads, you don't need much, which has been great because if you don't need a lot with a fresh lead, you should be able to buy leads that are fresher for cheaper or generate them yourself with just basic demographics. The thing is, you need to teach people how to actually talk to people rather than be robot. Oh, I have to have this to talk. No, you don't. You just need to know how to have conversations, right? Well, you listed XYZ. Is that correct? Or you say, hi, John, this is this Trey, I'm getting back to you. You filled out the request on Facebook. Looks like you're looking into, final expense, burial, state regulated final expense programs, or you're looking into trucker life insurance or trucker programs, or you were looking into veteran life insurance protection, or you're looking into index universal life insurance, you're looking to tax-free retirement, you're looking into mortgage protection plan, you're looking to income replacement. I could just keep going on and on and on. It doesn't change. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. This is a simple blueprint where you listed blah, 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 right? Or you say, now were you looking at, you just go straight into it. Where you listed XYZ as your beneficiary. Now, were you looking at this mainly for like the burial side, or are you looking for like general life insurance? General life insurance, perfect. Well, my job is really simple. I'm your licensed advisor. I'm gonna be what's taking care of you. But before we hop in, I need to give you some quick credentials so you can at least know a little bit about who I am. So go ahead and grab a pen and paper. So take a few seconds. Let me know when you have that, right? Or you're gonna say, perfect, what has you looking into this? See, they're branches, but the intro is all relatively the same. It's an introduction, it's an authority frame, and then it's literally you getting right into it. Now, beating around the bush or, hey, John, like they don't know you, and that is garbage. That's not gonna lead you anywhere, especially with leads. Now, if you're working like friends and family, it's different. But to me, when you're working leads, you have one shot. You have one shot, and the thing is, that's what to say. Now, how to say it, to me, is probably the most important thing. If you're reading off a script, your tonality sounds different. When I know what the client did and I know what I'm saying, I sound way different. If I take a brand new agent and I say, John, here's the ad they saw, here's the process they went through. Going back to what I said at the beginning, I am already preparing and framing them for what they're going to, for how to communicate with the client. So you see the ad, so you're like, okay, cool. I know what the client saw. So now I'm feel more convicted. When they give me an objection, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, I see you writing. You see what I'm saying? And now you're speaking with another level of confidence. Most of the times we don't do that. So we get upset, we get mad, we get bent out of shape because we're like, well, they said this. It's like, dude, relax, bro. Understand that people are gonna fill stuff out. I call life insurance agents every day. My team, we call life insurance. We rip leads in the same way that agents do. But we call, instead of calling leads, meaning people looking for life insurance, we call agents who are agents looking for leads. Yo, we get the same thing with agents. People bang on us on banking. People don't pick up the phone. People have all these voicemail blockers. People don't show up to meetings. It's the same thing. It's the psychology of people. The sooner you understand that the psychology of people is no different, whether it's a lead, an agent, a parent, a mom, it doesn't matter. They're all relatively the same. People are not gonna show up. People are not gonna do what they say they're gonna do. People are gonna get nervous. People are gonna back out. People are gonna lie. People are gonna hang up in your face. It doesn't matter. When you remove all the emotion, you just look at it for what it is, you're good. Now, when it comes to the tonality though, the difference is my team, they know exactly what the ads are running. They see the ads, they have confidence. You're working with these lead companies, lead vendors, you have no idea what they're seeing. They're lying to you. You're buying from hundreds of other vendors that also are lying to you, so they can't show you the ad because they're just sourcing data. Like, you deserve to not pay for something where they're sourcing data. Like, hey, can I see what the ad said? Yeah, if it's straightforward and there's no lie, you'll be good. Now, If you don't know what they're saying, then you have to use a script in order to justify how to talk to people. So you can still do that. Trust me, I did it. There's thousands and thousands of agents who never see ads. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying if you want to leg up, you should have an understanding of what the client saw. We used to run mortgage protection and final expense mailers. I did, right? That was my bread and butter. I really loved them. One of the most immediate benefits that people will say, well, these leads are 10 times better because they used to get in the car or they write something down and then go out to the mailbox. And I was always like, I mean, yeah, but like people are still people. So I'm just trying to understand yes, but make that make sense. On another level, what I really realized as I then started running marketing company for the past 4 years and helped hundreds of agents, I'm like, no. The difference is when you buy a mailer, guess what they do? They screenshot it, send you a PDF file with all their information. So when you call them, you have a completely different level of confidence. You're like, yo, John, you filled out this request. It was for mortgage protection coverage. Have you listed out here at the home at XYZ? Where you listed XYZ, is that correct? And they're like, yeah. Why? Because you sound different when you see what they saw. Your tonality completely changes. And when they give you an objection, your face scrunches, you hit the Jeremy, you're like, hold on, wait, what? Like you're almost confused. You don't do that with digital leads because you don't even know what you're buying. So it's like, okay, cool, sounds good, but you have no idea what your client sees. And then you get frustrated when you do know what they see because you can't fathom in your mind that, once again, I said at the beginning, humans are still humans. Now, when you can put both of those together and you understand that no matter what they see, no matter what they fill out, no matter what they read, they're still going to give you an objection. I have on my screen before people pay. Once you fill this out, a client will reach out to you to process payment in big, bold letters. You want to know what happens? People still fill that out. They're like, I was just looking for questions. Bro, all the information is on the website. On my website, all the pricing, annual premium, I have everything broken down to where you shouldn't have to ask no questions. You should be go in there, press a button. We still get questions, which is fine, but I'm saying you're an agent. You're talking about, Susie, who's 72 on Social Security disability, getting upset because she may have thought that it was free because it says state regulated. Don't be upset. Understand that comes with the game, right? That's why the intro is so important. If you don't know the intro, you cannot possibly get yourself into a presentation. And if you do, you've already started off on the wrong foot. When I call somebody and I'm like, blah, 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 you were looking for this, you were looking for this, they hear my voice. They're like, oh, this dude's serious. Right? When somebody from my team that may be like from the Philippines, from a different country, and they hear an accent, it could be saying the same thing, the same way, but because their tonality and their accent is a little bit different, they get a different outcome. Nothing wrong with them, right? And vice versa. It doesn't matter who you are. Right? People predetermine and judge immediately off of your tonality, especially on the phone, because that's the only thing they can base it off of. You can say the same exact thing to the same person and it sound different and you're going to get a completely different outcome. It happens all the time. So you could use the intro we give you. You can use the intro some other company gives you. You can use the intro your upline gives you. But until you have tonality and you believe in what the client saw in their journey, you're not going to have the same outcome. And I had to get on here today to explain that because that is really one of the more difficult things to get across because most people judge any lead based off the first few seconds of the call. When in reality, the first few seconds of the call is all about the agent. Honestly, I run a lead company. I say this all the time. Leads don't matter. Like they do to an extent, but all you're doing is paying for time. I don't care what anybody says. There's people getting busy on old, year-old, 90-day-old, 30-day-old leads. And there's people who absolutely are garbage. They're horrible. They can't convert anything off of fresh leads. What is the common denominator? It's not the leads. If the leads actually made a difference, then the best leads would make the best agent look good. But that's not how it works. That it will never work like that. It never has, it never will. It is the person. You make the lead great. We're going to give you all the resources, all the materials. But if you're not good, you're not good. We call people's leads. They complain on Loom. They still complain. I'm like, bro, look yourself in the mirror. You're just not good. You're just not good. I'm sorry. Until you can actually sit down and accept that this is the situation that you're in and you need to be better. No lead is going to change that. All you're doing with leads is saying, some of these people are cooler. I like their customer service. And they deliver leads faster. They're qualified. They have the data points I like. And I like the conversations I have. And they show me the ads. The ads are pretty cool. I'm good. That's how you should make your evaluation if you're good. Genuinely. That's it. Nothing else actually matters. Nothing's gonna change. You still have to spend it. If you don't wanna do it, that's fine. It's just not for you. Keep it pushing. But at the end of the day, it's super simple. You buy leads, you work the leads, you make sales, period. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? So as always, make sure that you comment, subscribe, like, share, do whatever. If you're interested in getting leads or working with us and my team, the way we get busy, go to agentleadlab.com or go to leadlabcrm.com. I'm not gonna waste your time. You don't have to buy the leads. Hopefully this helped. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.